Hello, my lovely vloggies. It's me again, the vlogging grandmother. My name is Patti Boulaye. Now, last time I was talking about relationships, and I promised that I was going to share traits that men and women have. And today I have a very long list on this paper. I'm going to just, on this one, because I don't want it to be too long, because nobody has time to watch these things forever. So I'm going to just give half the strengths of women, okay, this time, and then I will give the other half in the next vlog. And I have women's strengths and weaknesses, which I am going to share with you today. But what I'm going to do not worry that it is a long list, because I am going to put these strengths right above me over there so you can see it, okay? So let's start. Women, you have natural gifts, and so do men. Some of the gifts cross over, but we all have strengths and weaknesses. So I'll take the first strength of a woman, the power of reproduction. That is the power to give birth and bring life into being. So out of you comes every single human being. Out of a woman comes every single living human being. Number two, you have wisdom and common sense. The reason we have wisdom and common sense is because if you imagine women without wisdom and common sense, the safety of the new birth would be put at risk. We see this every day in our world. There are women, for example, who allow their partners to abuse the baby. And in some cases in the UK, and probably most parts of the world too, the partner has killed the baby. It's like watching lions in the jungle. Okay, the lion cubs has to be very careful, and the female lions know that the male lion, fully grown lion, can be quite dangerous. Will probably kill the lion cub. So that's nothing new. Now you're intuitive, you're spontaneous, and that's why you're an enigma. We're just spontaneous, we just do things sometimes just out of instinct and feeling, and it's the opposite of really being logical and putting everything in its place. Emotional intelligence. It's a great gift that women are blessed with. Emotional intelligence. That as well comes into common sense. Okay, in your gut's feeling very strong about things. Especially, I think they get stronger when you have your children. When you have your first child, this emotional intelligence goes into full speed and full throttle, seriously. And then you're creative. You are creative. You have creativity. It's a wonderful strength. You can create anything, but we're losing that actually, because when you have a child, nobody tells you how to look after the child. You create safety, you create environment, you create comfort for the child and for your home as well. Protector. Oh boy, I tell you, talk about being a protector. I was so polite in show business. For many years, I was polite. I mean, I couldn't say boo to a goose or whatever the saying is. And then I got pregnant with my daughter. And when she was born, after she was born, you see these nails. Imagine they are like literally 3 feet longer, like Wolverine, and I grew saber-toothed tiger fangs. You didn't pick on my child. You can pick on me, but you didn't. You picked on my child, you're dead. I give you an example. I remember when my daughter, I think she was about 11, and she went to secondary school, and the teacher said, I want you to draw your mother and depict your mother in the animal kingdom. My daughter drew a black panther. She's a great artist, actually, probably better than her mother. She drew a black panther, very clearly a black panther. And the teacher was shocked. The teacher said, this looks like a black panther. She said, my mother is black and she's beautiful. But if you pick on her young, she will kill. And I thought, wow, see, my daughter knows that. That's it. I don't make any apologies for that, because I am the protector of new life. I have that privilege to protect new life, and I would rather die than see anything happen to that new life, because I have to give account for that new life. Now, the next, you have a heightened sense of danger and inner strength. So when women say to me that they are weak, I'm afraid I cannot understand that. If they haven't had children, okay, I can excuse them, because I think, well, you really don't know what you're made of yet, so that's fine. But when you have pushed a baby, 1 or 2 babies out of you, and you tell me that you're weak, I get confused. So listen to this. You are created with a heightened sense of danger and inner strength. That is an incredible position to be in. You are natural engineers. Yes, women are natural. I think of myself as natural engineer. It's lateral thinking, if you like. I know people think, when they think engineers, they think of men. Good heavens, no. I sew. I'm a seamstress. My mother was a seamstress. It is a piece of engineering. Take a piece of Chanel or Givenchy or any of those great designers and see how they have constructed and engineered. I'm telling you, it's a piece of engineering. You see, I can look at something and tell you exactly its size in inches and sometimes in centimeters, because I'm a seamstress. It is a form of engineering. So in the old days, I think back to primitive days when women have to keep their babies warm. Oh, you create. You become an engineer. You create something to keep that baby warm. So natural engineers, that's what we are. Now, warriors. This comes as a surprise to Westerners. The female of the species is an incredible warrior. Amazons are not a myth. Okay, because in West Africa, the Igbo women and women in Dahomey, they had female warriors. They were fearful. They were scary. And I think they met their demise when the redcoats arrived from Britain with their guns and their muskets or whatever they had in those days. But they found these women quite scary to deal with. If you look in the history books about Africa, you will find that when the redcoats came back to England, when they were first met with these fearless female warriors, they were told to put chainmails to cover the breasts of what they call savages. Yeah, whatever. It's just a word. It's a name. But these women were fearless, and they are women like you. The reason they were fearless is that they were tactical warriors. They were strong, but they didn't take prisoners. So that's fearless. And that is fearful. And that is frightening. They didn't take prisoners. So warrior, it's what you're made of. It's part of you. Men are warriors too. But you're made of that because you have to defend the child. If the men are not there, you defend them. That's why the Igbo women went to war instead of the men. Because there weren't enough men around. The women went to war. So just remember that. Mental and physical strength. See, again, it comes to, I'm weak. You're not weak. You have mental and physical strength. Modern women can prove that now. You can bodybuild. I wouldn't advise it because it looks ridiculous in my opinion. You can bodybuild and increase your strength. Whatever you want to do. You don't even have to bodybuild. But you can make yourself so much stronger. You see, if you're strong mentally, you can overcome a lot of things. And physical strength comes in line with that. And you can, if you're fighting a man, you just kick him right between the legs. The Lord put that there for that reason. He wasn't put there only for pleasure. Our weak points are all between our legs. Yes, He gives pleasure because that's how life comes to be. But it's also our weaknesses, both men and women. Okay, so you have strength and you have physical, mental and physical strength. You are an organizer. It's only when I came to Europe that I realized that women didn't think they could do anything. They waited for the men to give them the opportunity. Don't wait for a man to give you an opportunity. You can do what your sons can do. I use the word sons because someone like you that's actually taught them what they know, most of it. So you don't wait for someone to give you. You see an opportunity, you take it. If there's a lot of organizing to be done, do it. Your adaptability is incredible. Your flexibility is amazing. Second to none. You're adaptable. You are flexible. You can, just twist and turn because you know why we don't have a university for bringing up children? Because every single human being is different. I grew up with lots of siblings and there's no two of us that are the same and we're from the same parents. Therefore, you couldn't even have a school to bring us up. Seriously? Because our characters are different. And that's how the world runs. So when people say to you, oh, children are the same, they should be treated the same, unless you're trying to turn your children into robots. They are different and they are individuals. And they're part of this universe. And the God who created the universe knows what your child is going to grow up to be. You're just the caretaker. You can adapt to the changes the child goes through. You're flexible with emotion. With my children, I have used emotional blackmail because that's what a mother does. For example, when my two children, because they have 7 years between them, when they didn't get on, I used emotional blackmail and I'm not ashamed to say it. Because I said to them, if you two don't get on, when I die, I am coming back to hunt you. I found my two children crying, Mommy, you're not going to die. I thought they were actually going to be afraid of a ghost following them around. But he was really sweet. They were worried that I was going to die. I was in my late 30s, for goodness sakes. I wasn't going anywhere. Well, thank God I wasn't going anywhere. I'm still here. But you see what I mean? Women have to use that. And my children are close and I'm so proud of it. Because if they didn't get on, it would trouble me. You are a strategist. Oh my goodness. Well, if you don't know that from the things I have said, you're very strategic. Women are. So when people say you don't know, women worked as astronauts, women worked scientists, women can do anything. So what is this about? Oh, that's just for a woman and that's for a man. But I tell you what every woman should know is how to sew and how to cook. Because you need to feed your child, you need to clothe your child. Forget the fact that you have places like Primark or whatever else or designers. Forget that. Because if something happens to the world and you can't get any of these clothes, you should be able to keep your child warm. Don't wait for the government to come and do it for you. Because the government's got its problem. The government will be trying to keep the country together, keeping you alive. Your job is to keep your child alive. That's why God has given you these gifts. You're supportive and patient. Boy, patience is one of women's strong traits. We are so patient, it is wonderful. And God knows why. Because when a baby is screaming, and especially imagine if you have three, they shouldn't be screaming, because you should know how to control them and bring them up so the three wouldn't be screaming. One I can understand because they don't have an example, but if you have three and the three of them are screaming, then you're doing something wrong because they're controlling you. But this is where your patience comes in, and you're very supportive of other beings, of your children. I'm not talking about women together thing, because that is another subject. But I'm talking about you're supportive as a human being to other humans. The last topic I'm going to cover today on your strength is cunning. We are frighteningly cunning. It is frightening how cunning women can be. Seriously, I know that. Oh, we can scheme. We're very good at it. Sometimes we scheme to our own devices, to our own demise, actually. But we do scheme. We're great schemers. Men don't scheme like women scheme. Some men scheme, but not like women. I'm telling you, we have PhDs in being cunning. Now, I am going to cover weaknesses in the next video. So thank you for listening, and if you want to hear about women's weaknesses and also other strengths, then please do subscribe, and thank you to those of you who have subscribed so far, and I hope you learn lots from this and get lots of strength from what I am saying. Thank you and love you. Bye.